Do you have goals? Do you have dreams? Do you have things that you want to achieve in your life? What's holding you back? What's stopping you from achieving those goals? Today I want to talk about why it's so important that you set and achieve goals as a parent. Now perhaps you're not a parent and that's okay. This also applies to you. What I'm saying or what I'm discussing today is how it's important to set your own goals about yourself no matter what is going on in your life. For me, obviously, I'm a mum of 4, and that has a really big effect on anything I do, from getting up in the morning to going out to finding the time to eat. Everything is affected by my 4 children. Right now, I don't know if you can hear, but there is a lot of noise outside my bedroom. I've decided to come into my bedroom and do my podcast for you. And outside, the dog is barking. The kids are running up and down the stairs. I've got kids playing PlayStation. And it is mayhem. And that is my life. If I want to stop the mayhem in order to achieve, it's never going to happen. I need to achieve my goals no matter what is happening in my life. So today we're going to talk about achieving your goals no matter what. Do you know what your goals are? Do you know who you are? Do you know what you want? Do you know what your values are? We talk about these topics again and again and again, and I think it's so important to come back to them. Who are you? What are your values? What do you want from life away from the madding crowds? So this is not about rehashing what someone has told you that you should do, or what someone thinks about what you should be, who you should be. This is about you. It's about you. Yesterday, finally, I put the complete book into the formatter. Now, I've put the book into the formatter before, but I had parts missing, like copyright and business details and ISBNs. So the complete, finished, utterly complete manuscript was put in yesterday. And what an incredible feeling that was. And after that, I went to pick up my boys. And when I picked them up, one of my boys had lost a tooth. Now, one of my boys believes in the tooth fairy and the other doesn't. And I say, don't tell Seth that the tooth fairy doesn't exist. He needs to work it out by himself. So Maxie suddenly screamed out. Seth said, I've lost my tooth. I'm going to put it aside so the tooth fairy gives me money. And Max screamed out, don't you know what's happened about the tooth fairy? Don't you know that the tooth fairy... And he was about to say doesn't exist. And I turned around and I gave him an angry look. And my eyes said, don't say that the tooth fairy doesn't exist. I gestured with my eyes in a menacing way. So Max says, dramatically, Seth, don't you know that the tooth fairy... And he finished the sentence, is pregnant? Yes, pregnant pause, so to speak. So instead of saying the tooth fairy doesn't exist, Max said the tooth fairy is pregnant, which didn't really help my situation. I had to suddenly launch into why the tooth fairy is pregnant and how this affects her, and perhaps she'll be a little bit too tired to pick up the tooth straight away, but she will pick up the tooth. And then there was all these questions about how did the tooth fairy get pregnant. Thank you, Max. Thank you very much for helping me. So I had a funny situation with, okay, we're trying to honour the needs of each child, and one of my children recreated the reality of the tooth fairy, and I had to launch into automatic and just explain why the tooth fairy was pregnant, which you and I know the real story, don't we? but we run with what occurs at that time with children. We run with their needs, with their goals, with their dynamics, with what's happened at school, with their bullying, and we run with it. I might want to meditate for 2 hours. I might want to work with my book. I have a YouTube schedule that I just love and I'm really enjoying it, and I have to fly by the seat of my pants completing that schedule, which I very much enjoy, by the way. So my life is like a ping pong ball which bounces off the bat, and it can go in any direction. Somehow, with that situation, I still have to find happiness. I still have to find a sense of me. I still have to find a sense of direction, despite the fact that most of my direction is mothering. But it's important that all of me is not mothering, because one day my children will be their individual selves and they'll move out. And if I don't find a sense of self away from my children, I'll feel quite empty when they leave. And it's not good for their development either that I depend too much on being with them. I want to tell you a little story about a barbecue. In many videos ago, I talked about how I was not happy that so many people throw out their barbecue on the hard garbage. In Victoria and most places in Australia, we have hard garbage once a year where we put our hard garbage on the front nature strip and the council takes it away. So when I was driving around on this particular year, there were all these barbecues on the lawn everywhere. And I would say to my viewers, what a waste, all these barbecues out. People should just have the barbecue they have for the rest of their life and just make do and be happy with that. And recently I've adjusted that point of view slightly, just slightly. I still feel that as a community we over-consume and we over-collect. I still feel that we need to consciously consider that collection or that consumption or that purchase definitively reflects who we are and is necessary. Does that collection truly make us happy? Or are we doing it in order to be distracted from our higher self? So that's my general belief regarding barbecues. That aside, I've recently bought, yesterday, I bought a barbecue. And it brought me so much happiness to buy this barbecue. I was so elated to buy this barbecue. Really, really happy. Why was I happy to buy a barbecue? Because it was symbolic. It was symbolic of my desire to have friends over, to spend time with me. It was symbolic of my need or my quest to build a garden. I'm building a beautiful garden at the moment. It's bringing me so much happiness to plant plants and to watch them grow. The barbecue was symbolic of my desire and my acting out of my true self. I have for 5 or 6 years devoted basically 100% of my time to my children's development, to trying to find work that can bring in enough money for my children and I, and to recover from the end of a marriage. So purchasing this barbecue is really evidence that I'm moving on, that I'm going to have friends over, that I'm going to start going out, that I'm going to meet interesting people. It's a reminder of who I am. I'm planning a dinner party in probably 4 weeks of my very special dear friends, and I'm so excited. It's the first dinner party I've held for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, and I'm so excited. So the barbecue has gone from being a symbol to me of my concern for the environment to being a symbol of me moving on. Because it's so important that we all have a sense of self outside of our children. And perhaps if you don't have children, having a sense of self outside of a career, having balance across a spectrum of different needs. Balance across career, family, friendship, community. So do you have a barbecue? Do you have something symbolic that reminds you that it's important to be you? So what does mothering look like without goals? Mothering without goals means that we lose our sense of self. It is so important to parent with a clear sense of self aside from parenting. And the same goes with career. To manage your career with a clear sense of self away from the career. And one of the most important ways of doing this is to have a journal and write in your journal what symbols define you in your own right. What symbols define you in your own right? What rituals define you in your own right? And you know, a ritual is not just a habit or a behavior you repeat. A ritual has a higher meaning. A ritual is rich in symbolism. It's conducted at a particular time. It's conducted using a number of habits that hold meaning. And a ritual heightens and reinforces your sense of self, your life's purpose, your higher life's purpose as well. So setting rituals, setting goals that really define who you are. How do you go as a parent remembering who you really are? Above and beyond the talks about the pregnant tooth fairy. What defines you? And what do you do to honour that? What do you do to stop yourself falling into the quicksand of daily life? What do you do to retain that specialness of you? What do you do to honour your spiritual self? What do you do to pull away from that vacuum of being sucked into needing to please others? What do you do to resist that vacuum, that black hole where you want to belong to the social set, that you want to belong to the acceptable popular groups? What do you do to just accept yourself? For me today, it's my new barbecue. It's my plan to renovate the garden. Yes, I will send you pictures. It's my plan to spend time with those people that honour my soul and see me as I truly am, rather than just try to please society. I need to please myself. And when I please myself, I'm a better parent. Do you do that? How old are your children? Do you remember to please yourself so that you can be the best possible mum or the best possible dad you can be? And what does that look like? How do you please yourself? What do you do? I produce videos. I write, I weight train, and I've bought a barbecue. That's how I please myself, and that's how I remember who I am. And very soon I'm going to start going out regularly as well, so that I'm someone greater than a parent. We are so many people. We wear so many labels, and that's okay. It's important that we don't hide under one label, such as our job or being a parent. It's important that we wear a multitude of hats, and each one with pride, dignity, and a sense of self. What hats do you wear? And are you balanced across all the hats that you wear? Interesting, isn't it? What do you think? Why don't you take a moment now, get out your journal, and take some notes about how you maintain a sense of self around your children. Can you hear that? That's the dog. I think I'm not going to edit that out. I'm going to leave that dog barking in. Throughout this audio today, there's been cars tooting, dogs barking, and kids running up and down the stairs. I'll edit some of it out, but I can't edit out all the noise. And that's true of my life. I can edit out some of the noise, the emotional noise of being a parent, but I can't edit it all out, and that's okay. Hear that? That's okay. It's okay to have the dog barking in your life. Hear that? That's my daughter. She's trying to help me have time to do this podcast. I'm going to leave in that sound as well. What sounds do you have that distract you from your higher self, but kind of add to your own happiness? Sometimes the mayhem is fun. And sometimes we need to set aside time and goals away from the mayhem. I love you all.